you see there Irelynn Harris ready to get things started for us here on day 4 of the American Championships. If you did not join us for the time trial portion of the inline speed skating program, the time trial is a 1-lap race against the clock. No one else on the track, no official starting gun. The racer moves when they're ready, but upon that first movement across the line, you see there the referee helping Irelynn clear out her timing chip, get that straightened out, ready to go. Once she moves her foot across the line, the clock will start, and it will stop when she completes her lap around the track. So Irelynn Harris, the first of our quad time trialists, getting ready to kick things off here on day 4 of the American Roller Speed Skating Championships. And there is young Irelynn Harris now on the track. And she is across and doesn't look like her time registered, so we'll see if there's a problem with the board or if Irelynn Harris is going to have to do it one more time. Joining me now in the booth, Josh Ingram. Josh, quad skating instead of the big wheels of the inline speed skates. How's it different for these competitors that do both?
So, she did so good. I hope her time comes through. They'll probably have her do it again either way, but she was fantastic. The wheels are a little bit, obviously they're wider, but they're a little bit smaller in diameter, but the fact that you still have edges on the quad skates, this is how it originated. This is what speed skating, it transitioned into speed skate, or like inline speed skating, but it started and originated on these skates. And the 80s, it was huge. Everybody, all it was quad speed skating. And then in the 90s, the inlines got introduced, and then, you know, they kind of figured out how those were a faster way to go. But the quads is a lot of technique. Now, one main difference is you do have on the front of your skate a toe stop. Now, some skaters do come up to the line and they'll run on their toe stops to start and get themselves going. Some of them will do the traditional T-start. So this skater is going to go off of the toe stops in front and get a little run there and then go. That's the more traditional way to start out.
And this skater is Kimberlynn Scott, skating for the Cobras.
She did the little toe start and she's off and going.
So Kimberlynn Scott putting up a 16.956.
That was so good.
And so a nice
good
time.
Crossovers. The quads are a lot, you have to hold your technique still. I mean, it's one of those things where the crossovers step all the way over and still get those full pushes while you're turning. These skaters are fun to watch on these roller skates.
So because the wheels are slower, the time's also going to be a little bit slower.
The times are slower, but they're still, it's a form of racing, and it's like I said, it originated. I mean, this is the way it started, but it never went away. Just the inlines became more popular and faster, and ways to skate outside and things like that. But look at who's this little guy?
This is Karter Scott. So a lot of the Scotts representing the Cobras here. We just saw Kimberlynn. Up here in our 5 to 7-year-old boys division is going to be Karter Scott, you see there, and behind him is Kiefer Scott.
So for the little ones like this, it's so much easier to teach them how to speed skate on quad skates than it would be inlines. For those little kids to be able to hold themselves up on those inline skates, because they have to have that ankle support to where they're holding themselves up and standing up at the same time. Where the quads, they have that flat base to stand on, so they're comfortable. But the crowd is loving this guy. Look at him go.
And big smile there, Karter Scott around the first turn.
Let's see if he crosses over. He's not going as close to the cones as he should. The coach is like, come on, buddy, get close to the cones. He goes down. Let's see if he gets it. Come on, buddy, get up, get up, get up, get up.
Almost done. There's Karter Scott. Finishing strong, took a tumble, but popped right back up.
That's the way to start the day.
And so good toughness there as Karter Scott coming in at 32 seconds, .2 3.9, and they've readjusted the age groups here for quads compared to previous years. So every fastest time we see on the track today is going to be an American Championships record, including that one there.
Yes. So his name's going in the books. That kid was just amazing. That's what it's about. Get them while they're young, and the way he just kind of cruised around that track, that was just fantastic.
And so here is
a big hug.
Karter Scott. So another Cobra.
Is he going to toe stop it? Toe stopping it.
Certainly did the toe stop sprint start.
Oh, he's crossing over hard.
Pumping the arms, Karter Scott.
Karter Scott's got a really nice pair of quad skates on.
And he comes in with a 17.209. So that is going to stand as the American Championships record now. So Karter Scott held the record for about 2 minutes until his brother Karter came in and took it away from him. But Karter definitely a couple years older, clearly.
Yeah, that's okay. And he was cruising.
And now we move on to our 8 to 9-year-old girls division. The 100-meter time trials continue here with Alexis Mayfield, the skater from Southern Speed. So she will get underway here momentarily, and she's going to go with the T start. Mayfield, one of those athletes that does both disciplines.
And I think a lot of skaters are finding that to be very beneficial, is to just do both. Even if you just had a really solid inline practice, go throw the quads on and get like a 50 lap cool down. I think a lot of skaters are doing that. And once they get used to starting a certain way, I think they just kind of stick with it.
And Mayfield coming in under 16 seconds, 15.892.
It's good.
Up next to the starting line, Mia Campbell from Bell's Speed Club.
Let's see what kind of start she chooses to go off with here. She looks like she's going to run on those toe stops too. Off she goes. And solid looking crossovers. And the straightaway is really crucial for quad skaters because it is just a lot of aggressive push. You want to push as hard as you can on the straightaways. Whereas the inlines are going so fast, you can kind of coast through a straightaway or two. You know, where on the quads, you got to keep pumping it to get those laps as fast as you want them to be.
And a very similar number to Mayfield, Mia Campbell coming in 15.14. So that's setting up to be a very competitive division as Marley Slack of Skater's Choice down there in Pensacola, Florida. So Marley, all three of these ladies competed in inline, rookie challenge, individual age group, and now here they are continuing to skate hard on day 4 in the quad time trial. Slack looking strong halfway through her lap.
Okay.
15.18. So all three of these skaters in within a second of each other. So we'll keep an eye on that 8 to 9-year-old girls division and see how those three do when they're on the track together. And we move on to our 10 to 11-year-old girls. This is Ellie Hodgen of Front Range Speed, so Cheyenne, Wyoming, represented here.
A toe stopper.
10 to 11-year-old girls, the toe stop start for Hodgen.
Working that track, crossing over, looking good.
Purple quad skates.
Yep.
Putting in a 14.933, you see there. So a very nice run for her as she posts a new record. We'll see how the other two competitors here. So this is a new skater, not an inline speed skater, a quad specialist here, Danica Flores for the Cobras. That Cobras team out of Evansville, Indiana. A lot of Cobras here in the younger age groups in the quad skate.
That's awesome. So you said she does not do inlines.
She didn't.
She didn't.
She didn't compete in inlines today,
She's
or this
here
week,
specifically
rather.
for this. I love it. Nice. Wow.
And across the line, 14.255. So
that's great.
Very good time for Danica Flores. So specialization paying off for her.
Yeah.
As she puts up the 14.255. And up next, Mia Garcia, coordinating her wheels to that purple uniform of the Texas Speed Club out of Humble, Texas. So Garcia skated a lot of laps the first 3 days in the inline division. Even the hair purple down there, Josh.
I mean, she just has it head to toe legit.
And the toe stop start that you mentioned.
You know, that's the way they do it in Derby. So if any of these skaters have like any kind of a Derby background, which some of them actually might, they just run on those toe stops, and it's quick.
And there's Garcia.
That was good.
Coming across in 16.658. So the record in this division being set by Danica Flores, the quad specialist, showing exactly what she's all about here with a 14.255. Our 10 to 11-year-old boys are up next. Cooper Jackson out there for Bell's Speed Club, another specialist in the quads. Did not call that name during inline competition.
Oh. Looks good.
A little bit flailing of the arms around that last turn, keeping the balance.
That was good.
But still turns in a 14.306. And out there now, Isaac Armstrong, the Team Illini athlete, the first Team Illini quad skater we've seen. Of course, we've seen tons and tons of Illini in the inline speed divisions.
Yeah, I want to go see what their practices are like. But they do a lot. They have a lot of quad skaters too, and I think that's something that they kind of have a part of their program there.
And a big split
out,
stretch
that
out.
was good, and even the other racers giving them a nice round of applause. They like the hustle.
So completely selling out to get across the line in 14.080. So Armstrong with the time to beat. And what's the mindset of a skater? You're out there all alone, but you got to drive the feet all the way around the track. No one to motivate you, no one to try to chase down or stay in front of. How do you prepare for that mentally, Josh?
You know, it's one of those things. It's just you out there, obviously. So, you know, I think you just let yourself know that you're just going to skate as fast as you possibly can and just let it all out there.
And Brandon McNair of Texas Speed Club doing just that.
That's awesome.
As he puts up a 14.568. So McNair currently with the third best time, as another Team Illini skater comes out, Brycen Wallace. And Wallace to the line. Aggressive footwork there at the start for Brycen Wallace.
Oh, buddy.
And Wallace skipping across the line. 14.082. So Isaac Armstrong and Brycen Wallace, it's almost like they trained together, separated by 2/1000ths of a second. 14.080 and 14.082.
That's what's nice about the time trials is they find out exactly where they're at. And so, you know, these quad races, they're going to be a lot of fun today.
And here we see Gianni Ray. Looks like he's getting a replacement time chip. Another quad skating specialist from that Cobras team. So clearly keeping the tradition alive out in Evansville.
Somebody's got to do it, you know. That's good.
So a quick
I wonder if they just offer quad-specific practices regularly for some of these skaters to go to.
And a quick recap of this 10 to 11-year-old boys division as Gianni Ray replacing his time chip. You've got leading the way Isaac Armstrong with a 14.080. Brycen Wallace, his Team Illini teammate, coming in second at the moment with a 14.082. Then you have Cooper Jackson, the Bell's Speed Club athlete, at 14.306. And Brandon McNair from Texas Speed, 14.568. We'll see how Gianni Ray's time stacks up against those four here as soon as he is ready to go. Looks like the timing chip situation has been rectified. And there's that toe stop start. He basically sprinted all the way to the first turn.
That's how I think that's the best way to do it.
And the fast start stretches out the leg, and it's a 14.046. So Gianni Ray coming in to setting the mark with the final skate of that division. Gianni Ray with the 14.046 posts the fastest time, but just 4/10 of a second, 4 100ths of a second over Armstrong and Wallace. So that one is going to be very competitive. As we move to our 12 to 13-year-old girls division, Audry Dehlinger of Badger State Racing from Appleton, Wisconsin, first up for our 12 to 13-year-old girls quad time trial.
She looks strong on those skates.
And Dehlinger,
wow,
in with a 14.377.
I love how every single one of these skaters, and you know what the thing is they hate hearing their quad time because they know what their inline time is, and so as they come around and they hear their quad time, they're just like, oh, that's not what that's supposed to sound like. Oh, but yeah, I got my quads on today.
And up next, Abrianna Ferriera, the Skater's Choice athlete from Pensacola, Florida. She's on the track now. And Ferriera working hard to the finish line. Abrianna Ferriera, not sure what's going on up there, but it's her time that is relevant to us, the 14.837. So Abrianna Ferriera with the second best time. 3 more skaters to go. Dehlinger setting the bar at 14.377. And up next, we have Emerson Study from Texas Speed Club. Just like Garcia, Study coordinating the wheels to match the purple uniform.
Head to toe legit.
The grist guards as well, the gloves as well, providing some purple accent as she makes it around the first turn.
Good form. That looked good to me.
And Study turns in a 14.396. So into second, just about 2 100ths behind Dehlinger. So all of these quad divisions so far, really tight cluster of times, looking for some very, very tightly contested races.
From what I've seen so far, the quality of skating is very impressive. These kids are moving.
And this is Olivia Bowden of Phantom Racing from Huber Heights, Ohio. She's on the track now. Phantom Racing, one of our smaller contingents, but Olivia Bowden, a quad specialist for Phantom, as she wraps up her time trial with a 14.705. So third best time for Bowden. And now here is Kendra Bendula of Bell Speed Club. She's the final skater in this division. Bendula, of course, if you joined us yesterday, a key component in the huge comeback that a Bell Speed Club 12 to 13-year-old girl relay team made, coming back from about half a lap down with 6 laps to go and getting a very good win right at the line in one of the inline speed skating relays yesterday. So Bendula now going to show us what she's got on the quads. Big aggressive arm swings from Bendula. And Kendra Bendula coming in with a 14:076. So that is the best time of the morning in the 12 to 13-year-old girls. Bendula posts the top mark. Audry Dehlinger with the second best, and Emerson Study, number 3. Up next, our 12 to 13-year-old boys, the speedster Zayden Wilson out of Bell's Speed Club. So we've seen what Wilson can do on inlines. Now here he is showing off his skills on the quads.
All-around skaters. A lot of these kids are just, you know, I think they spend a lot of time at their local roller rink where their practices are. And they just become overall skaters, and it looks like he's solid on his quads too.
And Wilson coming in under 14 seconds, 13:766. So a good run by him. Up next, his Bell Speed Club teammate Brayden Jones.
Getting the toe stoppies.
And Jones, a little bit wobbly there into the first turn. See if he can recover.
That was.
And there's Jones.
That looked good to me, actually.
Skipping across the line in 13:572.
Skip across the line. I think he was about to slam into the boards, and he just kind of crossed over a little extra going across the line. But overall, these kids are such good skaters. Just overall, you can just put wheels on their feet, and they'll just figure it out.
Jones didn't look like a perfect start, and yet still turning in the 13:572, best time of the day. 2 more skaters to go, including this man, Peyton Wendt, Badger State Racing. Quick feet on the toe stops for him. And Wendt, the times continuing to drop. Successive American Championship records being created here as Wendt comes in at 13:481. So Peyton Wendt, and now here is Jerry Peterson of Team Storm. Team Storm, another Indiana squad from Mishawaka, Indiana specifically. Team Storm and Jerry Peterson now working his way around the final turn. And Peterson's across in a 13:702. So just about a quarter of a second separating all 4 of those gentlemen. So once again, the quad races in these divisions, if the time trial is any indication, are going to be very competitive and exciting. Looks like we have a late addition. Bradley Long out there now for Texas Speed Club. So Bradley Long at the last minute decided, you know what, I'll throw my quads on.
Yep.
And a 15:496 for him.